should have set that up before I did that. Good morning. Whew. This morning tried me. I couldn't even find in my phone. Oh, good morning. Let's get comfortable. Hope y'all got some rest this weekend. I got a little rest. I got a little work done. Feeling good. Feeling great. Feeling great. Feeling good. How are you? This is Monday morning's video. Good morning, everybody. I hope that you are feeling great and feeling empowered for this week. We're just getting started. And, I had a conversation with one of my mentors this morning. He called me. He saw one of my videos and wanted to talk about it and was proud of it. And, I told him maybe our great-great-great-grandchildren will see the benefits of what's happening today. Something like this didn't start overnight. It's not going to end overnight. But you know what? All any of us can do is try to be as responsible for our part of any situation, not just race relations, but relationships and family and community. You just want your part to be something, you can feel good about, So anyway, I am going to try to get this done in a decent amount of time so we can all go on about our day. I wanted to talk about criminals and criminality, and the reason why is I try to do these videos in response to a thought or concept. That's what inspired the first video. The very first video was because a non-Black person said to me, what can we do? And so I did a video about what you can do as a white person. And then that kind of turned into, but I have Black friends. So I did a video on that and why that's not cool. And I did a video on white privilege. And so I try to address what people are talking about in a way that you can receive the information. Maybe it's something you've always defended. Maybe it's something you never knew. And so I try to just give you information because I actually do believe you can't unknow something or unsee something. I made a post yesterday about that dirty ceiling fan. Once you look up and you see all that dirt that's been spinning around over your head, it's going to bother you till you do something about it. Don't mean you're going to do it right that second, but you can't unsee that dusty ceiling fan. Same thing with the baseboards or anything that needs to be dusted. It needed to be dusted yesterday, but you didn't notice it yesterday, but you noticed it today, and it's going to bother your spirit, hopefully, till you go ahead and clean it. So that's what racism is. It's that thing that you hadn't seen until you saw it, and now that you see it, hopefully you'll do your part to do something about it. I've had conversations all weekend about what can I do, what should we do. I had I guess I'll call it a dialogue, a discourse with a gentleman, a white older male, according to his Facebook page. He had things on his wall because I went to his wall because I wanted to see who I was engaging with, because we know we got people baiting us both out there at the protest and here online. And so I said, I want to be a protector of my energy. And he was saying, he made the comment, this white older gentleman said, y'all, meaning Black people, need a strong leader to get behind. Amen. That's what he told me. He said, we need us a strong leader to get behind, to which I replied, no, y'all need a strong leader to get behind because Black people can't end racism. Amen. So y'all get together and talk amongst yourselves. This ain't our problem. We just the benefactor of your illness. Amen. Amen. Then he started talking about you can't change somebody's heart. Amen. You cannot change somebody's heart. Amen. So I think we ended up agreeing. I don't know if he realized he agrees with me, but we just try it one at a time. And so the seeds are being planted and we're doing okay. So I take gross offense when people talk about property damage. I really do. As a homeowner who worked really hard for their home and loves their home, I'd be devastated, something happened to my home. And so it's not because I dismiss property value or the importance of things that you've worked for. I just dismiss the priority of it in my life, particularly right now. It's just low priority. The Wendy's or the Target or anything, it's just low priority right now because the reason why these young people, and of course we've seen on tape and even with this Wendy's situation in Atlanta, don't really look like it's Black people that's doing all the burning down. But again, you have some agitators who have kind of mixed into the crowd to spray paint BLM on stuff. But But again, it's hard because sometimes it's hard to stay focused. And I want us to stay focused because I want us to be productive. And so when I do these videos, it's because some of the good, fine white folks that watch these videos and share these videos are hearing some of this information for the first time. And so once they hear it, they become empowered to say, okay, what can I do? I didn't realize I was doing that. And, again, self-identify. You don't have to make an announcement. You don't have to follow no crosses. Enough have been burned in our yards for history. We good on that. I'm telling y'all, my ancestors, she be throwing stuff in there. That wasn't nowhere on about the burning crosses and stuff. Okay, child. So I keep seeing, so when I do these videos, it's in response to things I'm seeing. One of the things I'm seeing is about the property that I'm not discussing anymore. And a lot of people who are upset about the property damage, I will point out to them that that is how this country was founded. Robbing and stealing and killing and murdering. And I was like, that's the American way. And that's the statutes you guys want up. And that's your ancestors you're proud of. And that's what you're fighting for. So when it's happening right now, however it go, again, I don't condone or support it, but I don't condemn it either. It's not what I've chosen to do with my time, but I don't know why one group of people robbing and stealing and looting is vilified versus another. Now, I do know why one set of people are white, one set of people are black. But when you say two wrongs don't make a right, that's what people say. When I bring up all of the looting in American history versus the looting today, no, it ain't murdering and raping and looting, but just looting, rioting, supposedly, allegedly. And they say two wrongs don't make a right. So they acknowledge. So it's not a defense. It's an acknowledgement of that is how this country was founded. But then they say, but two wrongs don't make a right. So my question in answer to that statement is, how many wrongs do we have to suffer before y'all make it right? Because if it ain't two, y'all keep telling me it ain't two wrongs to make it right. So how many? How many wrongs do it take to make it right? Because we've been counting for over 400 years. So listen, black people been trying for a long time, ever since we were free. And y'all kept making different laws and rules to keep us disenfranchised and keep us underneath and poorer and less successful. But in 1921, that's when you had the Tulsa Black Wall Street, when you had a thriving black community and the white people came in mobs and just murdered and killed everybody. But let's go back to 1873, Colfax, Louisiana. You had a massacre of white people coming in town and just murdering all the black people and taking their property. Wilmington, North Carolina, another massacre of white people coming in, killing all the black people and taking their property. 1906, the Atlanta massacre, where a white woman falsely accused a black man of rape. And so mobs of white people came and just started killing all the black people they saw. Yes, amen. 1919, Elaine, Arkansas, the blacks outnumbered the whites 10-1, and they started organizing because they were sharecroppers, but they said, we got to organize and get our rights. And so the white people showed up at their sharecropper union meeting and didn't appreciate them getting organized. And so they just started killing all the black people, amen, and burning down their houses. In 1923, you had the Rosewood Massacre, where Fannie Taylor was a white woman who said that she was assaulted by a black man. And so they just started finding black people. One of them was a man, a blacksmith. They murdered him and tortured him and then hung his mutilated body from a tree. I say all that to say, I really don't care nothing about that Wendy's. So, there's no time in history that black people have ever come into white people's neighborhoods and just start burning down all their houses and murdering them. The only time that you can even find a situation where black people have gone in and murdered people, white people, was when enslaved people said, hey, y'all, we got to get together because our God-given rights have been compromised, okay? And so maybe if we kill them all, then you had some slave uprising, insurrection, and they were not successful. But that is the only time in recorded history that the black people even tried to do what they saw being done to them in their communities. And so even after slavery was outlawed and abolished, you still got situations where black people just want to be okay. And that's not going to be okay with the white people. Now, this is what's crazy. Dear white people that's watching this today, I know you wasn't there. I know you didn't do it. I know a lot of you might not have even known or even thought about it because you didn't have to. But what we are asking you to do today, there was a system put in place by your ancestors that was based on slavery, that was based on indentured servitude, that was based on a situation where you also have class systems where we got to keep black people down. And all we're asking the white people today to do is break those systems down. end those systems. They were put in place by Pop Pop and Pop Pop and Pop Pop. You weren't there. You didn't vote on it. You didn't say it was a good idea. But what you can do today is use your platform, use your privilege to say, hey, these systems have to change now because Pop 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 them was on some bull. That's all you can do, right? That's all you can do. So don't apologize. Please don't bake another black person a casserole. Just do better when you know better. So there are systems in place for this to work. But that's all you can do. White people. The anti-racist white people. And so don't talk to black people about us getting organized. Don't talk to us about us needing to get a leader. Y'all need to organize. Y'all need to get a leader. Y'all wrote the rules. Y'all changed the rules. Y'all empower. Y'all still making up new rules now. Y'all disenfranchised the black people. Y'all built the ghettos and said that's where you can stay. And then when we stayed there, y'all said, no, never mind. We want to take it back. So you gentrify the area. And I can't get approved to get a house in your neighborhood. You going to see to that. Even if I do, the HOA is going to harass me until me and my family can't have no peace. Y'all organize and get a leader. White people. Okay, so I want to tell y'all about Seneca Village. Seneca Village. I don't know if y'all know about Seneca Village, but Seneca Village was established in 1825 in New York, okay? And there was some black people that got together. Now, this was why it was so hard for black people to build communities back then. Keep in mind, they barely free. Once they were free on paper, white people didn't want to sell them no property, okay? So it was a whole lot of things you had to go through to get you property as a black person, even still today. Okay, but Seneca Village was a group of black people and families and abolitionists and even some white colonizers, the poor ones, built a village, built a community. They had churches, they had cemeteries, they had schools, they had midwives. It's called Seneca Village. Well, the good, fine white folks in the surrounding area says, you know what? They doing well over there, them black people for themselves over at Seneca Village, but we want a park. And so they exercise what was that word they made up? The white people made up to take folks' stuff. Eminent domain. That's the word they made up to take everybody's stuff. And so the white people exercise eminent domain over Seneca Village. And now when you go to New York and you take your walk through Central Park, there is a small plaque there that acknowledges Seneca Village. It was just placed there in 2001. Central Park. How many wrongs till we get it right? So, I want to talk about criminals. Because I see people saying George Floyd was a criminal. He had a record. He had been imprisoned. He did all these horrible things. But I usually hear that after a person says, yeah, that policeman murdered him, but. Okay, so help me figure out where we get from, yes, that policeman murdered him, but. So if you have ever thought in your heart and mind, yes, that policeman murdered him, I'm going to need you to get your butts out of here. I don't want to hear, but that don't make property damage okay. And I don't want to hear, but he had an arrest record and he had committed crimes. Yes, that man was murdered. And then stop there. Anything you say after that speaks to your entitlement, your privilege. I don't want to use the word racism because it's a funny thing how racists get offended for being racist. And they will call you, have mercy, a racist. They don't even know what the word means, because if they knew what the word means and if they were a good racist, they would know I couldn't be a racist, because being a racist means you are better than me. So you calling me a racist, you know I'm not better than you, so you're white people, stop calling black people racist. It shows your ignorance. That's not even what that word means, but it's just such a word that people want to fight against. Just learn, just listen and say, you know what? This is what I was taught. This is what I learned. You know why most of the people on this video speak English? Because that's what you was taught as a baby. You know why children speak languages? Because that's what they were taught as a baby. You were taught that you were superior. And even if those words were not said to you, and you think your parents brought you up to not see color, that was a problem. If you think your grandparents loved everybody and told you to love everybody, you still have grown up to become successful in a system that is oppressive to an entire race of people. The reason why you feel like you're not racist, yet you've never spoken up when you've seen things at work, at school, in your neighborhood. You've seen things that were not right. You did not speak up because it did not affect you. So what we're asking you to do is look at every system, healthcare, education, housing, lending, business, everything that is important, voting, everything that is important, and figure out what part you play in perpetuating oppression. That's all you can do. We're not asking you to end racism by 2 o'clock today. It'd be nice if you could. We're not asking you to do that. But I'm going to give y'all an example about why white people have not realized that they need to get a leader and they need to end racism. I attended the University of Alabama, Roll Tide. And the University of Alabama is known for winning them some football games. So much so that most people hate the University of Alabama. You could say, well, because they racist or everybody was racist. But let's say football. Let's just say football. University of Alabama recently, especially under Nick Saban, were winning a lot of games and winning a lot of championships, right? And so at that point, they had the BCS system because they came up with the BCS to try to make it fair. They said, okay, you know, we can't have the same people playing each other because why? It wasn't fair to other teams. It wasn't fair to other teams. I went to University of Alabama. I don't care about it being fair for y'all. Win the games. Well, they ain't never going to win the games we win because our program has more money. We're recruiting the top athletes. We have more resources. So it ain't never going to be fair for a lot of them schools. Should I care? So then you get rid of the BCS and you say, let's come up with a playoff system. Let me tell you what the University of Alabama, I wasn't in the meeting, but I'm going to tell you any rules committee meeting that Coach Saban was at, I bet you he wasn't suggesting no new rules to take away his advantage because he winning. So that's what implicit bias and institutional racism looks like. White people, you're not going to suggest no rules to the rules committee because it's working to your advantage. You ain't thought about all the people that's losing. They should just pull themselves up by their bootstraps and do better. Why do we love an underdog story? Because they weren't supposed to be there. Man, they wasn't. That's an underdog story because they don't have this, they don't have that. This was a challenge they had, and they won anyway. We love an underdog story, but not really. Not when it matters. We don't like them. George Floyd was a criminal. He had an arrest record. He had committed crimes. But that police officer did murder him. I'm going to need them to be sentences that y'all break up. Don't say, but destruction of property, don't bring him back. You know what you can bring back? A building. You know what you can rebuild? A neighborhood. A Wendy's. All of them. You can't rebirth no people. They be gone once you kill them. They ain't coming back. Arrests don't bring them back. Convictions don't bring them back. Justice don't bring them back. So all those things don't bring them back either, but that's what we want. The problem is, historically, Black people have been murdered at a rate disproportionate to anybody else in the world. And then there's no consequence. There's no accountability because Black lives don't matter. We should say Black lives matter. Well, all lives matter. Yeah, but since Black lives don't seem to matter, maybe we should just point out Black lives matter. I don't know if y'all notice. I very rarely say Black lives matter because I kind of feel like a jerk saying something like that. That would be like me saying, I have 2 eyes. I have 2 eyes. I have a nose. I have a nose. I have a nose. You think I'm going to be somewhat telling somebody I got a nose? No accountability whatsoever. I say modern day lynching, but they just now passing laws to make lynching illegal. When I say just now, like last week, like 2 weeks ago, to make lynching illegal. I told you lynching ain't just hanging people. However, a couple of people got hung last week in California. But lynching is not just hanging people. It's killing somebody for an alleged offense with no legal trial. These people can't even get arrested before they are murdered. Arrest me. I may have committed a crime. Put me in jail and let me wait for my trial. I may have committed a crime. I'm dead now, so any crime that I may have committed really don't even matter now, whether I committed it or not. Now, when we talk about, again, I'm just responding to what I hear. when people say they don't get upset, black on black crime, so because I want everybody to be educated. I don't want y'all to be saying stuff that y'all just heard. Black on black crime. Now, I'm guessing when the colorblind white people refer to black on black crime, all of a sudden they can see color again. So if you have ever said you see humans and you don't see color and you just see the heart, I don't know how you would have any point of reference for what a black on black crime would be, because you don't see color. Stop saying that. You're showing your slip, sis. More white people perpetrate crimes against white people, just as more black people perpetrate crimes against black people. Quick lesson in crime. You commit crimes against who you around. So because we so segregated and black people over here in the ghetto, probably more than likely, they gonna kill each other. Where they gonna go to kill somebody? They can't get a ride. They ain't got no car. They ain't got no credit. So they kill each other. Now, why they killing each other though? Oh my God, they animals. Well, why white people kill each other? Most crimes are amongst familiar parties. Meaning, it's very few crimes that are based on a stranger. And that's why when you hear of a stranger abduction, that's strange. Because most people are kidnapped by a parent or that weird uncle in the back room. It's because it's people they know. Okay? When I shoot you over them shoes, the only way I know you had them shoes is because I know you. It be familial. Okay? And so white people kill the people they know too. White people. So let's stop saying black on black crime and that we don't get upset about black on black crime, because I'll tell you why. When one of our black people is killed by a black person, that black person tends to be arrested and convicted and prosecuted immediately. Okay. So then we don't have to march about it because they was arrested. If they don't get murdered on the way to jail, they in jail. If they ever get a trial, they'll get a public defender because they can't afford an attorney to get them off or plead their case or say self-defense. And so now we've added to the numbers of incarcerated. We got to keep them incarcerated because that's how we make our money and that's how we keep them disenfranchised. Okay? So I want us to stay focused. What I want us to stay focused on is how can we end systematic racism, implicit bias, and institutional racism. We're not going to change nobody's heart necessarily, and I don't care about nobody's heart. I just want the rules that we make up be the rules we follow. And I would like the policies and procedures that have been put in place to disenfranchise and keep people down just be taken off the book and be illegal. I don't care about your heart. You could hate me every day of the week. Just approve my loan. Let's make a deal. How about you get to still hate whoever you want to hate, but you just say yes on the application. Let's do a pledge. I pledge that I ain't got to like nobody I don't want to like. These black people ain't going to tell me I got to like them. I am an American. I have First Amendment, Second Amendment. I got all these amended rights. Amended? Oh, we had to add on stuff and keep making up stuff to the greatest document in history, the Declaration. Yeah, let's just add on some more stuff. I take a pledge. I ain't never got to have a black person in my house. I ain't got to never want a black person to come to my daughters, to marry my daughter. I ain't got to do none of that. But I'm going to say yes on this application. I'm going to hire this person with this black sounding name. Let's take a pledge. I don't. Alexa, what you talking about? I said something that Alexa, you know. Alexa is really, Alexa, off. Y'all, the government playing with me now. Anyway, so I want to talk more about, criminals. Again, that's what I want to talk about, criminals, because people want to bring up somebody's criminality. Well, you know, you got to have criminals in order to have the situation of mass incarcerations and keep people in jail. So, as I mentioned, you have the school to prison pipeline, right? Yeah, I'm sorry. Alexa over here playing one of my jams. I can't focus. Hold on. They trying to calm me down with a slow jam. Anyway, So I talked to you about the school to prison pipeline, okay? So young black people, particularly young black boys, are punished in a way in school. It starts in school, okay? So little black kids are expelled, suspended 2.5 more times than white students. And so what happens when your kids get suspended or in trouble? They feel bad. They get discouraged. And you say, listen, you made a mistake. Listen, just don't do it again. What did we learn from this? You know, all of us make mistakes. All of us ain't going to get it right all the time. But for little black kids, they already were born into a situation that was set up to keep their parents down and their parents down and their parents down and their parents down. And so now they go to school. They don't get a diagnosis of being hyperactive or ADD or ADHD or anything. They just get to be expelled 3 times more than white students. Black youth, these numbers are according to a 2017 study. Black youth make up 16% of youth in America. Black youth, 16%. But account for 52% of juvenile arrest. We get them young. So let me tell you when mass incarcerations first became like the thing to do. Back when they freed the slaves, they would over-police and arrest and convict freed slaves on minor offenses. Why? Because slavery has been abolished, but I can imprison them. And it's actually in the 13th Amendment that slavery was abolished unless it's a punishment, and indentured servitude was abolished unless it was a punishment for the conviction of a crime. Well, if I'm walking down the street and you have decided, sir, that's a crime, and you arrest me, and now I still have to work on this plantation for free, this is how you keep making your money and how you stay rich. Yeah, that's how. And so then if my daddy is in prison or my brother is in prison, you think I'm going to go to school and have a good day? I know black people don't get to get depressed, but y'all got to understand, beyond any kind of chemical imbalance that we potentially have the luxury of having diagnosed, it just be bad. You're looking out at this place where you have seen things on TV, or you have heard of things that are nicer than the things you've ever seen in your community and in your situation. And then the people that are in power, that put your parents and your grandparents and your great-grandparents there and said, that's where you live and you don't go nowhere else, okay? They said, no, you don't like nice things. You are an animal. You like being in the ghetto. That's what you like. So they had to keep white folks scared, because once they freed black people, they had to keep the white people scared, because what happened was, what if they could get what we could get? And so you had poor white people. You still had class systems. Even though you had the European colonizers over here, you still had class systems. You still had poor white people, but at least they wasn't black. I told you before that a lot of the poorer white European settlers, like from the Irish settlers and those folks who were kind of the poor white trash of the good fine white folks, that's when they start doing blackface for entertainment, because they were allowed in rooms they were not allowed in, because as long as they painted their face black and did their buffoonery, it was funny, because at least they wasn't black and they can make fun of black people, thereby elevating their own status. They didn't want them there either, for the record. But there's always been a demonization of minorities. There's always been a demonization of poor people. So now you a poor minority. You are the bad guy. Why? Because you are a poor minority. The white people should be afraid of you. Let's talk about why white folks are afraid of black people all the time and afraid of the crime. Again, based on every time a white person want to talk about the black on black crime statistics, I have seen racist white people in the streets shouting at black people, black on black crime statistics. Again, if you plan on leaving this video today, or you came up on this video today, don't say it just because it's stupid, because white on white crime statistics are staggering. White on white crime statistics would break your heart. How many white people is killing white people in this country? Oh. But we got to keep the white folks scared. If what you say is true, and that most of us killing each other, why are you scared? We ain't about to kill you. Based on the statistics you want to shout out about black on black crime, that means you are safe. You ain't threatened by me. You are not afraid of me. Because if you were black, you should be afraid, because you know the black on black crime statistics. I'm just saying, let's make it all make sense. It don't? Or would? Okay. How do we keep white people scared of black people? especially in the areas of crime. You know, it's amazing. My sister sent me an article, and it was like just so crazy how crime, black people are criminals just because we were born, right? You are threatened because of my melanin. You scared. You're not sure what I might do to you, but you also believe that I'm going to do it to my brother and sister because of black on black crime. You believe it all. Whatever you believe is to just keep you scared. And that's why you have to keep me out of your neighborhoods, because you don't know what crimes I might commit against you and what crimes my children might commit at the pool. You just have to, that's because that's what it's set up. But again, you doing what you were taught. For whatever reason, black people are criminal at birth. White people can be actual criminals. And we have found a way, by we, I mean y'all. By y'all, I mean whoever's in charge. Please don't be taking personal offense to anything I say unless you have done it. If you've done it, take it, put it in your back pocket, go home, pray about it. But let's not get offended by when I say white folks or they or y'all. Because y'all, we know who we talking about. If I ain't talking about you, and I ain't talking about you. White folks romanticize their criminals. They get movies and TV shows, and you see this person being the criminal, and that's your favorite character. They get to be three-dimensional characters. They get to have families and homes and lives. They be criminals. But we on season 4. I'm waiting on Ozark. Marty is a criminal. Amen. But I got feelings for his whole family because they white. Dexter, Barry. Criminals. But we like them. Because white people get to romanticize criminality. They rebels because they don't follow the rules. Yes. Just think about all your favorite shows. More than likely, there is a white person committing a crime. And you can't wait to see next season. Black people don't even get to commit the crime, and they get murdered. Help me make that make sense. An example. I'm going to give 2 examples, okay? For the sake of time. When you say why black people don't be mad on black crime, we be mad, we be hurt, be sad. But again, justice is being served in some way because y'all going to arrest somebody for that. Now, there are several black people that have been murdered that ain't nobody even looking for who murdered them. Because again, black lives don't matter. So, oh well, they was going to kill each other anyway. Oh well, he shot somebody last year. Oh well. But more than likely, they're going to arrest somebody. And whether that's the person or not, it really don't matter. We just got another body. Incarcerated. It starts early. We'll get them whenever. It's another way to have a convict leasing where you see prisoners working and building things for profit corporations. You have for-profit prisons. I'm just saying. The U.S. is 5% of the world's population. The United States is 5% of the world's population. However, we have 25% of the world's prisoners. Let's think about that. They've been imprisoning black people since slavery was abolished. It's another form of slavery. Please, please, please go to Netflix, watch The 13th. It's a documentary by Ava DuVernay, and it will educate you on things that you thought you knew that you don't know. It's on Netflix. It's called The 13th. Please watch that. Please watch that. But you know, the majority of mass killings in this country are perpetrated by white men. I use the term majority generously. And you would be amazed. I'm not going to say all their names, but you would be amazed at how many serial killers are still alive. If you just Google how many mass murderers, serial killers are still alive, they would give you a list because they're still alive. And they killed a bunch of people. Dylan Roof is still alive. Dylan Roof went to a black church, prayed with the black people, and then proceeded to murder them, 9 of them. And Dylan Roof was arrested. He wasn't killed on sight. We see that he has murdered 9 people. He was not killed on sight. He was arrested, and not only was he arrested, they stopped by and got him a hamburger on his way home. White people, you can't think that's okay. Eric Garner was selling cigarettes outside of a store, loose cigarettes. And the police put him in a chokehold. And that's who was one of the first people to say, I can't breathe, at least on tape. And he was murdered by the police because he was selling loose cigarettes. Dylan Roof is still alive. Just this year was a UConn student that was a fugitive, and he killed 2 people, and they was looking for him. That just happened this year. They was like, what happened? This UConn student or whatever. And they found him. They got him. And man, when I saw that they apprehended this fugitive who had murdered 2 people, I had to click on that article. And when I saw the police officer holding up a glass of water to this handcuffed fugitive murderer, but I also can see a knee on George Floyd's neck. You can't think that's okay. You can't think that's okay. What we would appreciate that all these laws that keep us in prison could put some of y'all in prison when you do wrong. We still gonna be disproportionately arrested. A black man is 2.5 times more likely to be killed by police than a white man. Black women, 1.4 times more likely to be killed by police. You know why our children are scared and why they want to go out there and tell stuff? Because they feel like they're going to die either way. 1 in every 1,000 black boys will be killed by police. Black boys, black men, 1 in 1,000 will be killed by police. The numbers for white people, because white people like to see where, well, police kill white people too. This is correct. Police reform is needed across the board. Excessive use is a problem across the board. But black people are disproportionately killed. Keep in mind, we are the minority, but yet our numbers of being murdered by police is astounding. So for every 1 in 1,000 black boys will grow up to possibly, if they grow up, to be killed by police. Tamir Rice was 12 in the park, shot by police. The numbers for whites, 39 out of every 100,000. Will be killed by police. So 39 out of every 100,000 white people will be killed by police. 1 in 1,000 for black boys. So, but let's talk about crime, black people in crime, because again, we romanticize white criminals and we salute them and celebrate them, and we have our favorite episode about the crime they committed that time. But black people, real life black people, not actors, not celebrities, not a movie, not a TV show. Poverty is the parent of crime. Aristotle said that. Poverty is the parent of crime. No resources, no education, constant harassment, harsher punishments, violence, crime, over-policing. You struggling, you discouraged, you hopeless, desperation. You probably gonna commit crimes. Guess what? When you can't get employed because you were in the system as a juvenile and you probably have a felony conviction, that's gonna keep you from getting employed. You can't afford legal counsel. You know, you see white people having technicalities and getting off because they got the best of the best, and we get the public defender who don't care. Okay, and the public defender, we getting convicted, and so that felony burden is addition to our all the other burdens. We're unemployable, and so we might commit crimes out of that desperation, whether it's to eat, whether it's to sell something. You know, the war on drugs disproportionately incarcerated quite a few black people. And the irony of that is that you got all these black people in jail for selling drugs, and you got all these white people with their cute dispensaries for the same drug. Amen. Amen. Dispensaries. Yes, but you got black people still in jail. And you had the 3-strike rule, and you had all these rules that disproportionately incarcerated black people, but you got to keep black people incarcerated because that's the way it's set up. It's the prison industrial complex is big business. And then you also now have the detention industrial complex because you got to get them younger and get them in detention. But just make sure you watch the 13th on Netflix. Do that for me. George Floyd was murdered. Period. We ain't got to say but. And gotta add in no property. And gotta add in no arrest records. All right. That's really all I wanted to talk about today. Did I cover everything? I covered all the black neighborhoods that the white people burnt down and murdered all the people. And I covered Seneca Village, which is now Central Park. I covered mass incarceration. I told you to watch the 13th. Talk to you about black on black crime. Stop saying that. White on white crime is horrible. And yeah. But anyway, I want to sign off with this. I get inspired by different things. And you may have seen my video yesterday or some of my posts yesterday that I shared of some people that were upset with me who took personal offense. Now, again, you have to think about the lack of cognitive skills if I'm talking about American history. So I'm talking about things from 1600, 1700, 1800, 1900, and you get personally offended. So in the same breath that you say, I didn't have slaves or I didn't do that, or in the same breath that you say, my granddaddy fought for this country or my daddy fought for this country, and you have all these feelings for your ancestors, but you don't want me to have no feelings for my ancestors. You don't want me to talk about my ancestors. You don't want me to talk about their life here in America, but you want me to listen to your ancestors' life in America that was built on robbing and stealing and killing. And you want me to be okay with your statue. So if you take personal offense to actual American history, that actually probably sounds more like a mental illness than just regular racism. Racism is a mental illness, but it's like I'm not going to diagnose you. But anyway, I say all that to say there's a poem that someone sent me yesterday. One of my favorite poems, but someone shared a portion of this poem in response to me sharing what some of the people that were upset about. I think I got some sunscreen in my eye. Have mercy. So let me just offer you this poem as I end, because I am what's considered an uppity Negro. Racist white people do not like uppity Negroes. Obama, Michelle and them, Oprah, and anybody that has just decided to have joy and success in spite of, those are uppity Negroes. And a lot of uppity Negroes were lynched. A lot of the people that you can learn about at the Equal Justice Center in Montgomery and in the Lynching Museum are black people who were successful. All of those neighborhoods, those were all uppity Negroes. And that's why we got to murder them and kill them and burn down their house, because who do they think they are? Okay, so I qualify as what would be considered an uppity Negro. And so this poem is for you. It's by Dr. Maya Angelou. Still I rise. You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still, like dust, I rise. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? 'Cause I walk like I've got oil wells pumping in my living room. Just like moons and like suns with the certainty of tides, just like hope springing high, still I'll rise. Did you want to see me broken, bowed head and lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops weakened by my soulful cries? Does my haughtiness offend you? Don't you take it awful hard, 'cause I laugh like I got gold mines digging in my own backyard. You may shoot me with your words. You may cut me with your eyes. You may kill me with your hatefulness, but still, like air, I'll rise. Does my sexiness upset you? Does it come as a surprise that I dance like I've got diamonds at the meeting of my thighs? Out of the huts of history's shame, I rise. Up from a past that's rooted in pain, I rise. I am a black ocean, leaping and wide, wailing and swelling. I bear in the tide. Leaving behind nights of terror and fear, I rise. Into a daybreak that's wondrously clear, I rise. Bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave, I am the dream and the hope of the slave. I am such an uppity Negro. I rise, I rise, I rise. Boom! I feel good today. They're about to get me at the end. Anytime I talk about my ancestors, y'all know I start getting because but we good. That's Dr. Maya Angelou, Still I Rise. Read it, share with a friend. Make sure you watch the 13th on Netflix. get you some information. Have a good week. Be empowered. Be strong. We can't keep arguing with everybody. I tell it to myself, y'all. I broke my rule a few times yesterday because I replied to people that did not have grammatically correct racist statements and did not run spell check. And every time I had to reply, I said, now, girl, you letting them break your rule. I got some sunscreen in my eye, but I'm crying too. Hold on. All right. We got it. We got it. Whew. I'm going to try to let this be the video for the week. I'm just gonna move in purpose. But I love y'all. I really do appreciate y'all. Make sure you share the videos. We are planting seeds. I promise y'all, this is touching some people's hearts. People are hearing things they never heard before. People are having time on their hands they never had before. And so that's all we can do is show up and shine and rise and be who we were created to be. We are the best of the best. We are descendants of the strongest people in the world. You got this. All right, y'all have a good day.